Well, good day, everybody. It's the first day of April, April Fool's Day, as they say. Getting ready tonight to start this bee. And I'm not gonna, put the radiator on it. I'm just gonna kind of proof that it's gonna run. A little bit of setup here that I wanted to talk about. If you read the manuals, they say that you pull the throttle to full throttle. Well, it doesn't matter where it goes, anything, as long as you get a gap here. Okay, because that is as far as that will travel. That is against the governor weights and the bearings in there, the thrust bearings. So that's as far as you're going to get. You can pull it wide open, and all it does is bend the spring more, and it makes no difference. So just make sure you got a gap there. Pull your throttle right to the stop. And this here is supposed to be halfway of the hole. And that way, when that goes full throttle, you actually have to pull it back a little bit. It will more than have adequate enough tension to give you 100% full throttle. So that's where your throttle is supposed to be. And basically, if you've got the throttle cracked at all, this here it'll go. It's full throttle till the governor weights throw it back. So we're going to leave that like that. We're going to put some fuel in here. And I'm going to move some stuff here so we don't have the fan getting into anything. And probably move this stuff here. You give me a few minutes and I'll be back and we'll do some moving. We'll see if this thing will run. So I'm getting ready to put some gasoline there in the cab just so we can start the old girl up. I got it cleaned up pretty good up here where the fan is. So I just dumped out this water bottle. I'm going to fill this up about halfway, and I'm going to show you what happens. You can just see a little bit of water in it. On the other video, I mentioned about how it didn't take much water at all to knock the alcohol out. So we're going to put the cap on it. I'll give it a little shake. And we'll see if that's enough to knock out the alcohol. You won't know for a minute, but yeah, I'm going to set this here. And well, it almost looks like it's starting to settle out, but we'll see. We'll give it a couple of minutes. I think it is. You'll notice it's getting dark up top. And it's getting quite a lot more down on the bottom than what there was a few minutes ago. That's the alcohol dropping out. So we'll let that set. That's what happens when you have, a gasoline that has 10% alcohol in it and you come in contact with any moisture, and it doesn't take much. I mean, one of those drops that's in that bottle, you could pull that much humidity in by the temperature change of the day and the humidity going in. And consequently, these tractors that aren't kept full of fuel, they have a large air exchange every day. When it goes cold at night, everything shrinks, it pulls the air in, that old damp night air. The next day, it heats up, it blows out the gas fumes and the air, but the humidity that was in that air has already gone into your fuel. And, you do that, 60, 70 cycles without running that fuel. And before you know it, this is what happens. As you can see right there, that 10% alcohol, and it's not all dropped out yet. I can still see it's cloudy down there on the bottom. But that'll keep dropping out until it's all gone. It'll take 100% of the alcohol out of that gas. So anyway, that's just a little side note. It's kind of an interesting thing, and it doesn't take much water to do it. So yeah, I'm gonna go get rid of this because it serves me no purpose now. I guess I could put the top of it there into the thing and dump out just the water, but anyway, I'll get rid of it. I'll be back in a minute. Well, as you can see, I got the carburetor full of fuel, and it does have one slow leak down here on the bottom. it may have stopped because as that paper gasket swells, a lot of times that stuff will stop. Anyway, yeah, let's see what we can do here with this old girl. Okay. So, I'm going to throw the clutch out. It is. Yep. It's in neutral. And we're going to choke it. And we'll crank the old girl over here. I'm going to put this cap on just to keep stuff from slopping. We don't need any gas fires if we can help it. Wet. She's gonna run all right. So I don't know if that oil pressure gauge is junk or what, but I had no oil pressure, but I got oil everywhere. So I'm gonna take a light here and just look things over. Oh, that turns over nice now. Yeah, I don't know why. Unless I just didn't have quite enough oil in it. It's not up to the full mark, because I was going to drain it after I started it there for a minute, but it may need another quart of oil. And I ain't going to get my hand down in there, because I've had fuel in it now. So, yeah, we'll just look with the camera here in a little while, make sure everything looks good. Looks to me like everything's lubricating great. Yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Well, that no oil pressure was my fault. That line that comes up and goes right to here in the governor, I had forgot to connect that. I know I talked about it a lot, but it was not connected. So, of course, it was pumping oil, but the pressure was just dumping out up here, so it never really had any pressure. But you can see by the looks of everything, it was getting well lubricated. Yeah, so we're going to put the cover on, and I'm actually going to put the bolts to it so we can stop the oil from flying everywhere. And it's been setting now for several minutes. We'll probably fire it one more time real quick and just see what we've got for oil pressure. I'm kind of curious. I'll bring you back in a bit. Hey, let's start the old girl up and see what that oil pressure does. Now we've got it hooked up. Okay. Oh, we got to hook up the spark plugs. Hang on. Because I had my hands in the crankcase, and I do not do that without grounding out the spark plugs. Because I'd like to keep all my fingers till I'm an old person, you know? So, anyway. Yeah, we'll try that. See what she does. Boy, it's got compression now. I'll tell you, I think she's going to be a good runner. So yeah, I don't have this exhaust right here. Has a 45-degree bolt pattern, and my exhaust has the other style. So I've either got to cut mine and re-weld it or order a new one. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. Anyway, yeah, that's all I don't like running stuff without water in it. Not at all. But I tried to pull the throttle back to get it to stall, but it was running so good it wouldn't do it. So anyway, yeah, I think she's a good one. Seemed to have plenty of oil pressure. The only oil leak that I've got that I know of, and I got to take shit apart to fix it, and I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to order this O-ring right here because it's leaking right out under there, and that'll always make a slopping mess. So anyway, I should have known better. When I took it off, I knew that the O-ring didn't, wasn't pliable anymore. It had already taken a set. So anyway, one of those things. I'll probably end up pulling this fan shaft apart, and might be a job. I'll probably end up getting Chris up here, or one of my good friends, and say, here, push down on this. Here, while I do this. And it's, I don't think, I'm trying to think here. No, there's nothing you got to pull. Really, you take that off and it'll withdraw right back through it, and then I can pull it apart. So anyway, not a big deal. I don't have to pull any races that I can think of. I think it'll come apart. So yeah, so she runs. Pretty happy with that. And yeah, like I say, I got one oil leak. We'll get that fixed. The one under the governor, I can't believe. And I talked about, making sure you had that hooked up, and like a damn fool. But that's what happens when you work on something for an hour, and then you go somewhere to work, come back 2 or 3 days later and work. Stuff gets missed. I know stuff like that. Usually stuff in a commercial shop, if the emergency comes in and somebody gets taken off a job and putting back on a job, 6 hours later, because that other job's taken care of, that's when mistakes happen, because sometimes you think you've done something and you didn't. Anyway, it's one of those things. But yeah, carburetor seems to work all right. It's not adjusted because I don't want to pull it right up full throttle and let it sit there and hum with no water in it, So yeah, that's probably going to be the last video on this John Deere for a week or two, because I got to make an order of some parts. Other than that, we're pretty good shape. So I hope you enjoyed the old start of her. And yeah, hit the like button and don't hesitate to subscribe. We'll have more fun coming along. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.